Hey guys, welcome back to Nelly Nummies. Now today we're going to be working with comfort food. So, what's yours? Is it sushi, Indian curry, or pasta? For me, it's breakfast food, especially pancakes. Now this recipe we're working with today is going to enable us to be kind of lazy in the fact that we're whipping up the batter the night before. So just before bedtime here, I'm making up my batter and we're gonna refrigerate it. So then first thing in the morning, all I have to do is turn on the griddle and start cooking the pancakes. It's so easy. And you might likely have all the ingredients on hand already. So let's get started. So we need a cup and a half, so 1.5 cups of flour. All-purpose works just fine. We're also going to need baking soda. This is the rising agent. We're going to use 1 tablespoon baking soda. That's what's going to make it so fluffy. And if you let the pancake batter sit even just for 30 minutes after mixing it, you find your pancakes are quite fluffy. Then we need salt, 1/2 teaspoon. The salt kind of helps balance out the sweetness that we will be adding. For a little flavor, I like to add a little cinnamon, but you can go ahead and skip if you want or use nutmeg, ginger. Go ahead and play with flavors, see what you like. I'm doing 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. We're gonna do a 1/4 cup of white granulated sugar. This is optional, but I like to add a little malted milk flavoring to it. Gives it a little bit of that diner pancake flavor. If you've ever had pancakes from like IHOP or your local diner, I'm just gonna do a tablespoon of that today. Gives it a little difference in flavor. That's our dry ingredients for now. So we're gonna give it a nice little whisk. Whisk, whisk, whisk. I like to make a little well in there before I add my wet ingredients. The one thing I like about this recipe is that you can do everything in one bowl. We're gonna add 1 whole egg. Crack that in there. Give it a little whisk just to kind of break up the yolk. Then we're going to take 3 tablespoons of melted butter. Be sure to let the butter cool down a little bit so you don't cook your egg when mixing it in. We're also going to need 1.25 cup of buttermilk. Now this is stuff that I mixed up myself. I don't usually keep buttermilk on hand. To make your own buttermilk, I just use 2 tablespoons of white vinegar to about a cup and a quarter of milk, and let it sit for about 10 minutes, and then you get this nice little soured milk that mimics buttermilk. Otherwise, go ahead and buy it from the grocery store or use what milk you have on hand. So then mix in 1.25 cups milk. It is going to be a bit of a thicker batter, but that's okay. Before we finish things up, I like to add a little vanilla extract. You can also do almond or coconut extract, whichever you prefer, or you can skip as well if you don't feel like vanilla. I'm just going to do about 1 teaspoon of extract. And then mix in the extract. Make sure all the flour's been incorporated into the wet ingredients. And that, my friends, is our pancake batter. That literally took less than 10 minutes to mix together. And that's me gathering all the ingredients. Now, all that's left to do with our pancake batter here, grab our lid or some plastic wrap, cover our bowl, and we're going to refrigerate this for 8 to 12 hours. And if you're in a rush in the morning, at least let this sit for a good 15 to 30 minutes and your pancakes should still be pretty fluffy. See you guys in the morning. Good morning. It's time for breakfast. We have our pancake batter. It's all good to go. You'll notice it's really thickened up and, well, chilled, but it's ready to go, ready to cook. So let's get cooking. Now we have our griddle preheated to about 325, 350 degrees. It's nice and warm right now. And if you're not going to use a griddle, go ahead and turn your stove on to about a medium-low heat and take a large nonstick skillet. And just like what we're going to do with our griddle here, we're going to take some vegetable oil cooking spray and spray our griddle so that our pancakes don't stick. You can also use butter if you don't feel like using spray. But now we're going to put our batter on the griddle here. Spread it out. You want to thin it out a little bit since it's kind of thick. Make sure it cooks evenly. There we go. Fit as many pancakes on here as you're comfortable with. Make sure you leave enough room in between them so you can get your spatula under the pancake. And we're going to cook these for about 2 to 4 minutes per side, or until you start seeing some bubbles popping up along here. If needed, you can check underneath. This one has had some bubbles on it, so I flipped it, and now it's nice and golden brown. That's exactly what we're going for. This one's ready. He has lots of bubbles here, so if we check underneath and flip them, he's golden brown. Notice how they all puff up once you flip them, and it's so satisfying. There we go. This guy's starting to bubble, so he's probably good to go. There we go. Look at those nice golden brown pancakes. I'm getting excited. And once we flip them here, we're gonna let them cook for another minute or two, or until the bottom side is nice and golden brown. Gonna check this guy. Perfect. So it's been about a minute, so now he's all done. So we're gonna remove this guy and put him on a plate to keep warm. Look at that, guys. We're all done making our pancakes. Now it's the fun part. We get to eat them. Before we do that though, one thing to note is this recipe can be doubled. Original recipe makes enough for about 2 to 4 people. If you have more mouths to feed, or you just want more to save for later in the freezer, which this does freeze nicely, go ahead and double this so you can make enough for 6 to 8 people. Now, for toppings, I like to just do a little bit of maple syrup, but you can go ahead and use some fruit flavored syrups that you can get at the grocery store, or you can make your own fruit compote by simply taking a medium-sized pot, some fresh fruit, and about 1/4 to 1/2 cup sugar. And then you let that cook on the stove top over medium heat for about 10-15 minutes until it's nice and syrupy. And then you're good to go. You have a nice fresh fruit syrup to pour over your pancakes. But for today, we're gonna do a little bit of maple syrup here. I'm gonna drizzle some on. I did take a few bites out of this already since I was doing some food photography for you guys. But I'm still gonna eat some more of this thing. Let's have a little taste. Now these turned out really nice and fluffy. We can thank the baking powder for that, and letting it sit overnight and do its magic and creating all those little air bubbles in the batter. We also have a nice hint of the cinnamon and vanilla if you added those. And it's just a really all around nice, comforting breakfast. Or if you're like me and you want something simple for dinner, I like to have breakfast for dinner sometimes too. You can serve this along with some traditional American breakfast foods too, like some eggs, bacon, sausage, or some sauteed veggies, whatever you feel like. But all in all, it's a really easy breakfast recipe. I hope you guys find the time to give it a try and let me know how it turns out for you. Or if you have any recommendations or suggestions for a future video, please let me know in the comments below. I'm curious to see what you guys think and what you might want to see me do. And please remember, please be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and enjoy your breakfast. And I'll see you next time. Bye guys!